doing the translation feature. Okay. So my name is John T. I've been involved in the blockchain since 2016. I came into this space primarily to make money. I didn't understand impact and changing the world. It was strictly from a state of mind of making and maximizing my financial position. I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm not anybody special. For a lot of my adult life, I was a regular person, and I still am a regular person. But I was a carpenter. I worked with my hands. I did carpentry, and I traded my hours for dollars. Um, as I got introduced to the blockchain in 2016, I started getting into Bitcoin mining, learning about the space. Within a couple years, I made my first few $1 million. But something very interesting happened to me. And I really want to tell this story because it really sets the stage for everything we're doing here and we'll dive into. And I know a lot of you guys have already been in here, but just to understand like the beginnings and why I'm so motivated to help build this community and how the shift in my mind changed in my understanding of blockchain. So, although I came from money and acquiring Bitcoin as a financial instrument, I was in Thailand in 2018 and I met a gentleman who was the founder and visionary for all that we're doing in Connect across all of our projects. He painted a picture into my mind about a potential future where blockchain could disrupt and change almost every industry, giving the power back to the people. So it was the first time where I looked at this technology as something different than just an opportunity to make money. I looked at it as an opportunity to literally change the world and level the playing field for the everyday average person. And ever since that day, my mind shifted on my purpose and why I'm here. One of our first projects that we launched from Connect was a project called Gala Games. You might have heard about it, people talking about it. That was born in Connect as one of our impact projects, just like how you would see Rally or Switch. Same thing. It started just like that. It has since moved outside of our ecosystem, but I want to explain a little bit of why I was so excited about that and how that evolved and grew over time. It wasn't something that happened overnight. Our whole point to what we're doing is to really disrupt and make the world a better place, create impact. And we saw an opportunity to create impact in the gaming space. Although I am not a gamer, I know that there are many problems that existed in that space. And blockchain offered a viable solution to change the game for gamers, pun intended. So traditional gaming spaces, the problem is that there's so many people across the world that spend so much time and money in the game. And we saw an opportunity to really set that free. Blockchain allows the ability for people to have ownership. We agree? You can own and control not only your time, but your assets because of the nature of cryptocurrency. So this was during the birth of the NFT craze. I don't know if you guys were involved, but it was from 19 to 21 where we really saw a lot of that space kind of evolve. So blockchain technology allowed the things that people purchased in games to live on the blockchain instead of it being in a game. And now people had the option to take that value from the game and sell it on secondary markets to other people who wanted to participate in that game. So for the first time in history, because of what we created with Gala, it just wasn't a black hole of time and money. That value and time that they put in could not only be monetized, but it's owned by them, and they can take that value and redistribute it across other people in the ecosystem. So really what it created was an economy that all of the revenue and value wasn't flowing up to the companies. it was flowing circular around the very people who supported that network. That's high level of what we did, but we had the opportunity to purchase nodes. And inside the Gala node, it has the same algorithm as the BlockBot, and we're going to dive into that. It had proof of action into it. So the more I engaged as a community supporter, the more the blockchain would give me a distribution and rewards. And for the first 2 years almost, that reward had zero value, no market value. It was very difficult to see a potential future that didn't exist yet. But nonetheless, I, decided to push forward as a community. I took ownership over it, and I knew that if I could get people to see the vision, that this thing would grow to what it in fact turned out to be. Um, I turned about $10,000 into several tens of millions because I took action. There were people who didn't take action and bought nodes, and specifically one of my wife's friends, she bought 10 nodes and just did nothing really and made sure her nodes ran. She ended up making about 3.1 million. That token went from nothing to 87 cents at the top of the last market. Because the gaming space saw value in what we're doing. We're right at the beginning with everything we're doing. We are designed a lot different than Gala. Gala didn't have the DGF. It didn't have the distributed governance framework, which makes it so the community owns it. That was a company that ran off on its own, and it's suffering from centralization. Our projects can't um, fall victim to that, centralized oligarchy. But that's kind of my history, guys. We built Gala up. I came back to connect. Not that I ever left, but I came back here about, sheesh, I think almost a year and a half, 2 years ago, and really started pushing forward like what it is we're actually doing. And I think we have something massive that not a lot of people understand. We move from this win node concept to now a block bot, and there may be some confusion around it. Projects are clear. We have our link, we understand what it is, but there's something massive that I think a lot of people are missing. And the point of this call is to really educate you guys around that, how to position yourself, and really just how to understand like how revenue moves through this ecosystem. Because owning brand nodes is only one part of a bigger piece. You hear people say it's about being in the right place at the right time. But if you guys can understand how this works and how massive this could be, you guys will understand what the blockbot is and how proof of action works in the Win blockchain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to go through this presentation. This isn't a beginner presentation. Um, I know you guys, most of you guys are here and have been here. So this is really just to solidify and maybe grow your understanding of what we already have. So you guys should be able to see my screen, I hope. So
Yes.
we're going to talk about the real power of the Win blockchain that nobody is talking about. And it all starts with BlockBot. Okay. So BlockBot leverages the Win blockchain, where an algorithm called proof of action exists. So proof of action means that you earn rewards for doing things that matter. The more you engage, the more you earn. And these are the bullet points of the things that we're going to talk about. So the Win blockchain rewards action, not speculation. Most crypto projects out there are all about speculation. We tie action into real world revenue and reward that to the people who are taking action. So very simply, proof of action means you earn by doing. There's something called a win rank. For those of you who are Impact BlockBot or what we used to call BlockBot, you'll notice that you have this win rank score that's deep in your BlockBot report. For some of you, it might show on your dashboard. This win rank comes when you become an Impact BlockBot, which is referring 5 BlockBot sales and doing 10,000 in volume. This is where the magic really happens, and we'll dig into like what that means and how that plays into all of our other impact brands. Super important part there. So rewards from all the brands flow through the Win blockchain, not just Win. The Win blockchain distribution algorithm, it's a smart engine for a new rewards economy. So what this means is inside the Connect shopping cart or the BlockBot shopping cart, where all of the node products and all of the services are, all of that money that goes into there, that goes through the Win blockchain, guys. Owning a brand node, you don't get any of the benefits of that revenue that flows through there. So I'll give you an example. You know, if you refer a sale, like obviously there's a commission, but there's a massive chunk of that revenue that goes through the Connect shopping cart that goes to the whole community. So let's just say, for example, somebody on this call, let's just say you've reached Impact Blockbot, you start to get these things called node support rewards. That's not from your personal efforts. That's from all of the sales that go through the Connect shopping cart. So let's say Rally, for example, starts to go into massive momentum and there's people buying their monthly or yearly R-Link subscriptions, and now we have like $1 million a month in revenue that starts flowing through that Connect shopping cart. That goes all to BlockBots, whether you referred those sales or not. That's the big thing I think people are missing here. Rally nodes will continue to get a daily distribution. Right now, it's around a little under 3,000 tokens. And if they have a boost, obviously that's double. But that revenue from the Connect shopping cart goes into the market and buys the tokens out of the market. And then once those tokens are purchased, it sends it back through the Win blockchain, not the Rally blockchain. And where do those tokens go? They go to the people who referred the sales, but they also go to the impact blockbots. I'll show you a little bit more of what that means is. But just to kind of bring that to a close, it means that if any one of our projects goes into momentum and starts doing revenue, that all goes to blockbots. It doesn't go to brand node owners. Brand node owners benefit because of the market buys that happen from it. So they benefit indirectly on positive buy pressure, token price, but they don't benefit directly. That revenue's final destination is in the hands of the people who are owning and operating blockbots. 100% of the proceeds flow back through this algorithm. So I don't know if this is the best thing. I'm not sure what you guys got for sports out there across the world, wherever you are, but we're just going to use this example. Who loves sports? No, it's no matter what sport you love, whether it's American football, international soccer, rugby, basketball. The goal of a game is to score and earn points. That's how you win. So, what are the different ways to score? With American football, you can score a touchdown and earn 6 points. Um, you can earn an extra 1 or 2 points after the touchdown by either kicking a field goal or trying to run the ball in. And basketball and baseball works the same way. You earn 1 point for every home run in baseball. Soccer, you earn 1 point for every goal, or they call soccer football in the rest of the world. But my point is, there's different ways to score, right? So whoever scores the most points wins the game, right? And players who score the most points in games of the season get ranked in their league. So I'm going to use this example just to show you the difference. And you might think this is corny, but I just want to use this real world example to kind of, compare it to how the Win blockchain works because it's a game. It's a ranking game. So Tom Brady was the number one ranked NFL quarterback. This is in the year 2022. He earned a base salary of 15 million. And because he was ranked number one, he earned a total of $84 million in 2022. A lot of extra bonuses and endorsements above and beyond his base salary. Now, Travis Kelce, ranked number 10 in the same league, he earned less of a base salary, only 10.5 million. And because of his rank, he got bonuses and endorsements totaling 11 million. So rank unlocks value beyond the field. And so the win rank kind of works the same way. So whether you're talking about sports in real life or your blockbot or win rank in the win blockchain, higher win rank equals higher win rewards and node support rewards. And how you get there? More actions equals higher rank equals higher rewards. So every day in the win blockchain, there's a game being played. The question is, how do we win? How do we win this game? So this is what I was talking about before, smart flow. You may or may not have heard that before, but it turns every sale into blockchain rewards. Traditional blockchain projects do not have real world products and services that drive revenue through their blockchain. So if you believe that any one of our projects are going to be successful and we can reach millions, hundreds of millions of people, and we can have a ton of people using our products and services, all of that revenue flows through our blockchain and goes back to the blockbots. So again, I'll explain it, this visual. You have the Connect shopping cart. Users purchase products or services from the Connect shopping cart. The revenue or money, it's captured into a smart flow system and it's sent to our markets. Like if you look on coin market cap right now, you can see like we have a market with the price. This money goes into the markets and buys the token. If it's a rally product or an R-Link product, it buys the rally token. If it's a block bot, it buys win token. If it's a switch node, it goes and buys the switch token. If it's a grow product or service, it goes and buys the grow token. So all revenue goes into our markets. And then once it buys those tokens, the tokens are sent back through the Win blockchain and go to all blockbots. A big chunk of it goes to ranked blockbots, people who have a score. You know, being a block or owning a block bot is great because you can earn rewards for sharing and everything. But the magic of this system really unlocks when you reach impact block bot and your rank begins to go up. Because when we were in Gala, we had months where we did over $100 million in revenue. The problem with Gala is that revenue wasn't shared with its nodes. Here it is. So if we reach a month where we do 100 million in revenue, the majority of that revenue goes back to everybody who is a block bot, and more so people who are impact blockbot. That's really the key piece here I want you guys to understand. This is why blockbot and the Win blockchain is so valuable because we have 14 different verticals out there, some more developed than others. You know, the most popular ones are you look at Rally or Grow, and those are kind of the most popular ones. But as one of our projects kind of grows and starts to do revenue, all that revenue flows in and all those people come into our ecosystem and we all um, grow. So it's kind of like a rising tide raises all the ships in what we're doing. And being in the right place at the right time is not only owning blockbots and brand nodes, but it's also being ranked in the Win blockchain to capture all this revenue. Imagine $100 million a month, all of that goes to the block bots who are ranked. Doesn't it make sense to be a ranked block bot when that happens? That's going to be way more valuable than just owning nodes. Now, I want to be very clear and careful here. I am a massive node owner. I own a lot of nodes across all projects, but that's only one piece to how we do this. Owning nodes gives you ownership in the network. It gives you voting power. It gives you a passive daily distribution. It's important. You know, it helps you shape the direction of whatever project you're participating in. But to really capitalize from a financial standpoint and to also help drive the growth of the network, you not only want to be positioned with brand nodes, but let's face it, these nodes are getting expensive. There's people who can't afford them. 6,000, over 6,000 US dollars for a node right now is very difficult. But a $2,000 block bot can put somebody in a position, if they do just a little action, that they could start to tap into all this revenue that's driven through the brands in the form of brand tokens. There are people right now who are making more node support rewards, more tokens in the Win blockchain than they are running their brand nodes. Let that sink in for a minute. Let me say that one more time. There are people in the Win blockchain who own BlockBots and are building a network of BlockBots that are earning node support rewards that are valued and exceeding the amount of tokens that they're getting from just running their brand nodes. There's also people in the Win blockchain who own and operate BlockBots that are helping to build a network of BlockBots that are earning rewards of tokens that they don't even have nodes for. Okay, so super important. We'll break it down and get into a little bit. So why does this all matter? SmartFlow, this system that I'm talking about, that the Win blockchain operated by BlockBots is where the revenue flows through this SmartFlow system. So the cool thing about this is projects don't control the token flow. The blockchain does. It's to the extent that people purchase valuable products and services, and not all the products are nodes. Like, we're going to have a lot more products that give people real world value. We're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg with this. It creates token buy pressure, and it's automated based on the Connect shopping carts activity. So the more people purchasing products or services, the more value flows into our ecosystem and is redistributed back to the very people supporting it, which is the block bots. And this creates this new shared growth economy across all participating brands. So let's dive into the win rank and win pay rewards and what this actually looks like. So again, your actions increase your score in win rank. Your win rank powers your win pay reward. So the more meaningful action that you take, the higher your rank. The higher you rank, the more win pay rewards you unlock. So we're going to jump into the weeds a little bit so you understand this. This is a merit-based points, action-based point system. So whether you're earning, sharing, saving, or powering the network, your activity drives this ecosystem forward. This isn't about selling or recruiting. This is about showing up, learning, contributing, and being rewarded for the value that you create. This isn't about hype, guys. This isn't about, hyping something up to be something more than it is. This is about proof of your actions and creating value out of those actions, real rewards, real impact. So our system is designed in the Win blockchain to reward certain actions. So we all know, hopefully, what a friend chain is. It's the people we referred and kind of our lineage. Like, our friend chain is like, I referred you and they referred these people, and it starts to build this friend chain network. So every action that happens in your friend chain, you get points. Some points are full points, some points are fractional points, but each point is tied to a real world action. Every time you earn $100 in value, you earn a point. Every time you own and operate a block bot for that day, you earn a point. If you operate 5 block bots, you not only earn 5 points, you get the extra bonus point. And every time somebody on your team or friend chain does the same, you earn points. Points are very important in this win rank, and your position in the win rank determines how much of this revenue you get that comes in through any brand product. Okay. The blockchain is a little bit different. It's not your friend chain. The blockchain is a straight line, and I think I have a fancy drawing here that I made up. So just imagine a straight line from left to right, like you see here. This is the first people that joined Connect, and everybody who joins after them goes in a straight line. Let's just say this green dot is you. Okay. So everybody who joins Connect after you don't have to refer them. This is a global line of everybody. So everybody who joins Connect after you, when they start to take actions, you and everybody before you earns points from that. Okay. And then, of course, this is your friend chain. This is you in the orange. So as you create these lines and talk to people and get people on presentations, and they decide to participate at any level they can, whether that's buying a product or service or a node or just plugging into the social impact platform, all their actions accumulate points. You can see these little points. All these points go to you. So at the end of each day, you have your friend chain points or connection points. You have your blockchain points, which is from everybody after you, not even in your friend chain, just everybody in Connect after you. These 2 point buckets are added together, which give you a win score. Okay. Your win score is super important in your ranking. And I'll show you how that ties in together. So it comes down to all the actions produce points, both in your friend chain and from everybody after you. That gives you a daily win score. And so there's a memory built into this. This is where it might get a little complex, but just know the amount of points that matter today, like what you do today matters the most. What you did last week matters slightly less. What you did the last month matters slightly less than that. So it's all about what you do today that matters the most. That's the most heaviest weighted thing you can do. And what you did last year only counts for a little bit. So if you think of like traditional, like a network marketing company, which this isn't, it's a proof of action blockchain, but I just want to use the example. If you think of a traditional network marketing company, it's always the people that come in first and begin to build the network that make all the money, and the people that come in last don't. A leader usually comes in, does a bunch of work, and then sits back and collects the monthly checks, makes all the money. This prevents that from happening. This is a fair and honest system where somebody could come in today, continuously do a lot of actions today, and contribute positively to our mission and far surpass the person who came last year, did a bunch of work, and is now doing nothing. So this isn't a pyramid, it's a blockchain algorithm that equally distributes value based on contribution. Um, this is so, put in the chat, guys, like how many of you guys receive node support rewards, or raise your hand? How many here are Impact BlockBot and every day receive node support rewards? Okay. So the way then, okay, so not yet, that's fine. There is magic waiting for you just on the other side of a little bit of action. And it's super valuable. It's a lot of value, especially as we scale. And that's really what I want to kind of talk about here, guys. If you're just owning and operating your blockbot, or what we used to call WinNode, and you're not really doing much, you're trying to figure out, that's fine. You can still participate at your level, but just know on the other side of just a little bit of action, guys, exists a massive pool of rewards just waiting to drop into your wallet. Bianca's giving me the nod. She must be an Impact Blockbot, maybe, and she's getting the rewards every day. Arian knows he's getting the rewards every day. And it's not based on what we're doing personally, it's based on what we contribute to the ecosystem. Once you get that rank, um, it's from a global shared economy. You're getting these rewards. And I'll jump into it and explain it a little more. So, out of all the revenue across all of the brands, it goes to a bunch of different buckets. Okay. If you refer a sale, you get some. But specifically, there's a big chunk of this global revenue rewards from the Connect shopping cart that's reserved specifically for Impact BlockBots. And the way it's broken down is into these 4 buckets. So if you're ranked in the top 50, you get the highest. If you're ranked in top 500, you don't get to tap into this block. Um, there's only about 260 impact block bots right now, so pretty much everybody is in at least these top three right here. Only the top 50 are in the top 50. But let me explain what this means, guys. So these are two accounts, and this is just one example. So this was about a month ago. This isn't recent. I haven't updated these, but just for visual purposes, I wanted to explain this. So my account is account number one. BlockBot rank 23. I've done a lot of actions. I've helped contribute to this community, and based on my actions through the proof of action formula, my rank is 23. It's currently 24. I've moved back. That means somebody's doing a little bit more actions than me, which is fine. But my point here is that based on my rank, my win distribution for that day was 23,853 win. Now, my wife, on the other hand, her account, it's ranked 94, and her distribution was 3,596 win. Now, let me show you why this is so important. Okay, so these are the node support rewards now. These, and I'm sorry if you can't read it, if it's small or blurry, but let me go through this. So what the top one is, this is my wife's. So if you look here, all of these rewards here are based on the revenue that's being driven from the Connect shopping cart. I didn't do any of that revenue, and the people who are getting these rewards didn't do any of those sales. That's from the global effort of everybody. A portion of that revenue goes to all the ranked block bots. So in this example, my wife ranked 94. She earned 5,800 grow. She earned 23,000 rally, 14,000 switch. I'm sorry, 14,000 revo, 15,000 switch. But if you look at mine now, just a higher rank at 23, it's almost 5 times the amount. 17,000 win, 24. Hey, be quiet. I'm on a call. Sorry about the dog. 24,000 grow, almost 100,000 rally, guys. Just to put this into perspective, let me just do some math here for you. A rally node is giving about 3,000 rally, right? We all agree with that. So if I take 100,000, and I'm doing this on my phone here, but if I take 100,000 rally and then divide that by 3,000, sorry, 100,000 rally divided by 3,000, that's 33.333. That means that it's almost like I'm running 33 nodes. I am getting the same thing as if I was running 33 rally nodes. And this doesn't come from me running rally nodes. This comes from me owning blockbots and ranking up to impact blockbot. So that's very, very important right now. A person doesn't need a brand node to participate in this. They only need to own and operate blockbots and help build the Win blockchain to really become uh, ranked here. It's very easy and to earn this. And this scales as we do more revenue. So right now we had one of our best months in June. We did about 3.77 million. That means that based on all the fancy math, and I figured it out because when a brand does a sale, a portion goes to the brand to support it. But my point is, most of that revenue goes back through the Win blockchain to BlockBots. So out of the $3.77 million in revenue that we generated through the Connect shopping cart, $2.2 million goes to BlockBots. $2.2 million of that revenue goes to BlockBots in the form of these coin distributions that you see over here. And as we scale and do more revenue, what if we did $100 million a month in revenue across all of our brands? What would that look like? What would these numbers here turn into? That's the big thing I want to really tell you guys about. Like that is the power of BlockBot, and that is the power of the Win blockchain. It proof of action. It's proof of value. Win turns actions into outcomes. So there's one thing that a person can do more than anything else that's going to increase their win score. And I can stop sharing my screen because this is the kind of the end of the presentation. Let me stop share. You can see me. So there's one thing that people can do more than anything to tap into this revenue as we grow, not from our own personal sales. Okay. You can earn from your own personal sales, but if you want to earn from the global growth of everything, there's one thing you can do more than anything, and that's owning and operating block bots. I'll tell you why, because remember when I showed you that point system? Owning a block bot gives you a point every day, and it's a sticky point, meaning every day it's there. So if you have one block bot, it's every day 1 point. You don't have to keep doing an action. It's an action that sticks because you're doing it every day. If you have 5 block bots, you earn 6 points every day. The more block bots, because it's a sticky point and what you do today matters the most, that is going to be what ranks you up the quickest more than any other action. The second thing you can do is build a network of block bots, because those are also sticky points that flow up to you. So the more sticky points you can have, and when I say sticky, what I mean is they're repetitive every day. Whereas just selling a brand node or selling a brand product, it's a one-time point. It doesn't come every day. It's when that occurs, you get that point. And then if you don't do it the next day, there's no point there. Owning and operating block bots are everyday points. Selling block bots and building a network of block bots are everyday points. This is going to rank you up in the Win blockchain fast, faster than anything. And then after building that, owning and operating block bots and building a network of block bots, everything else you do matters last. Selling products and services, selling a rally node, selling a rally product, selling a grow animal NFT, buying one of those Switch $250 card things. Anything else matters third. Okay. Um, what this does is it puts us in a position now to capitalize on all of the growth across all brands. When we invest, and I don't like to use the word invest, but when we purchase a node, we're siloed into that project. We're relying on that project's success, and we know that there's no guarantees. Think about it. If you only have like $10,000 and the choice is buy a block bot, a rally node, or a grow node, and you're scratching your head, you need to make a choice. You buy a block bot and maybe you choose to buy a grow node. So you're not earning rally tokens now. Participating in the Win blockchain is a diversification risk strategy, because it puts you in a position to earn as any one of our projects goes. If it's grow, if it's rally, being in the Win blockchain, those coins are going to flow through the Win blockchain more than what's going to a node. And I want to be clear here, guys. I don't want to diminish the value of owning brand nodes. I own like 400. I own like 50. I own a ton because I believe in it. But I really want to say most of the tokens are going to flow through the Win blockchain. So we would be very smart to not only own what we can for brand nodes, but really put ourselves in a position to be ranked in the Win blockchain to capture all of this revenue that comes through the Connect shopping cart in the form of brand tokens. Because right now it's this big. If we start getting into the momentum that happened with Gala, with 100,000, I'm sorry, 100 million a month, 200 million a month, that is going to be a massive win for everybody. And maybe that's where they got the name the Win blockchain. I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to share. Let me just go through the chat here.
Yeah,
See if we can answer some questions.
we have a couple of questions. Bianca, you raised your hand. Maybe you can explain. You can unmute and ask your
Yeah,
question, and then I have a few questions from Wayne.
yeah,
Mhm.
sure.
Bianca?
Actually, I was just wanting to have a schematic. Um, a schematic. What's it called? Um,
Overview.
what's it called? Overview. Thank you. Of what? Could you last mute, please? Thank you. Of the flow of the money flow. But I got that 2 minutes, 2 seconds after that, so I'm fine. I think it's
Okay.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
Awesome.
you.
Cool.
Then we have a question from Wayne. I will feature him so everybody can see him.
Okay. Yeah. The
And
amount
unfortunately,
doubled.
hi,
Go
man.
ahead.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my camera doesn't seem to be working for the past 2 days, and also my phone's gone down. And thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this group and that. And the influence of what cryptocurrency can actually do and is able to do is unbelievable because we're still at the onset stages of this because nobody's really developed such a package that is explained that people can understand this. Because there's so many fraudsters out there that are launching these fake things. Let's take a look at like Token Pocket. Like there's a lot of things that have gone out, and so a lot of people are very scared of this whole infrastructure and that. There are some risks that also I'd be raising. I don't want to raise it in a public forum, but the influence of it is already at the point that it's at right now. Our current standing points in our position in the global markets is half of our current population in our country is not earning 2 block nodes a year to survive on in value. And that's really how unfair the current fiat system is and the infrastructure that we are dealing with because there's no ways to come back from it. There's no ways to trade out of that. And this is what cryptocurrency does influence. But to getting the bridging understanding of what we can do in transactional points and giving the opportunity to bring business into this has revolutionized where people that are actually bringing quality work can now get paid for it if we can just educate from this point further. So for everybody involved in this project, I truly do appreciate it. But it's already like where the market's at. Some people are looking at like you're sitting at an unbelievable amount of BlockBots, and half of my country can't afford to buy in because I'd have to take half a year's salary to get in. And now the fact that the blockchain has got this many good people that are creating the Rev tokens, the Grow tokens, the Liberty tokens, all of these different other exchanges so they can get a facilitation point into it, is still allowing for those markets to access it. But that's the kind of jump that a person's having to make and a risk to commit into this. Can you imagine if your commitment into this was having to be that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I get it. And so I have a couple answers to that question. So the first one I'm gonna put into the chat here. So currently, there is no barrier to entry for anybody. We have the free BlockBot Mini, which is just a Win light node. It gives you a basic little mini connection to the blockchain. But what's cool is you can prove your way into BlockBot ownership. So I get it, your country, half your country's people annual earnings, that's fine. There's people out there that don't have money, but have access to the internet and computers. So this goes for anybody, even you guys. This started, I think, June 16th. Anybody who refers 5 BlockBot sales automatically gets a free BlockBot. You may or may not have got that yet, but that's a thing. So if you haven't got that yet and you've referred, look at this support link I sent and take a peek at it. There's that opportunity. So there's no excuses for really anybody. If a person doesn't want to do any actions, they can't realistically expect anything for free. If they want to pay for it, they can. With that being said, there will be lower price point NFTs for people to come in. We're thinking of something called a WinPay NFT. It'll be an NFT that's like $100, 100 US dollars. It's an NFT that kind of gives you just a pass to be able to earn sales commissions on selling products or service. It's not a full block bot. It's nothing like that. It doesn't give you access to the big revenue share that I talked about. It just gives you a foot in the door at a much lower price point where you can begin to scale that up, where you could potentially buy your own BlockBot or brand node. So that's not here yet, but I get it. I know a lot of people in Africa and other countries
Yeah.
where it's very difficult to penetrate those markets. So I totally understand.
And like that's the whole leveraging point, is that I've been a part of this since R-Link was just R-Link. And just understanding cryptocurrency was just cryptocurrency, but it's just been completely out of reach. And I've approached the government institutions, tried to educate individuals wherever I can. There's such a stigmatism in Africa because of the amount of fraud that has happened. It's not accessible into the entire market towards it. But this bridging point that has been created right now is a key activator. And literally with what has happened now, I'm going for that top spot in the earnings of your average play game that you're speaking about, because finally it is the leveling of that market where that exchange has changed. With the
Yeah.
implications regarding that, it's going to be quite interesting to have the right people around, and the community has got that good core around it. So if the wealthiest
Yeah.
person in the world had to invest in this, that's why I'm speaking about the limiters of exchange. Great, we put the win pay in. I don't want to see something like this destroyed completely, that a fiat system member or person sees something like that, and that control factor is now, this exchange has now reached a point of activation that it can really be influenced. Elon Musk, for example, had to put his entire wealth into this and pull it out, what would happen? And because of the exchange it generates from it, but you see what I'm saying in terms of a cash out.
I do. I get what you're saying. I mean, it's an open and free market. Anybody can do what they want. I mean, what's different about our markets is that they're revenue driven. There's no other blockchain that drives revenue through it. So most projects are just built on speculation and hype. The only reason why people buy tokens is in hopes that it goes up. You know, some people might buy tokens to have some utility in the token, but there's no real world revenue generated. That's what I'm talking about here. Every one of our projects has real world products and services that drive value or liquidity into the market. So if Elon Musk comes in and buys a bunch of tokens now, and we continuously drive revenue in, and we see a drastic price increase, and Elon Musk decides to take some profits, yeah, our market's going to see that. But the cool thing is, it's not based on speculation, meaning the people purchasing R-Link products do not care about the token price. They just care about the product or service, and they pay a monthly subscription for it. And if millions and millions of people are paying monthly subscriptions, that revenue keeps our markets propped up regardless of who's going to speculate on the token. So what I think, and this is not guaranteed because we've never done this before, I'll turn to the side, but we're going into an upward market. What's going to happen? Who knows when, but maybe end of 2026, we'll start to go into the down markets. Everything will go down. Bitcoin, the whole crypto market. Arian knows, he's been there before. Everything will go down because everybody's pulling money out of those markets who are speculative investors. Our markets, there's constant upward pressure on the price because real world products or services. So as everything else goes down, let me see, as everything else goes down, our markets could just stay up here like this because nobody cares about the token price. They care about the real world utility in the product or service. And we have a system that drives revenue through our markets. Nobody else has that, guys.
But
And we also have another system through the Wind blockchain that allows people to be put right where that revenue ends up. See what I'm saying?
so if I may, and thank you for letting me be a part of this discussion, is that
Sure.
I'm at a very unique key point in the market right now, in the African markets. Okay? And you gave a figure of what the current value is in terms of the fiat system and the exchange points. And this is why I was asking what the limiters might be, because I have individuals that are in transactions in the fiat system that are larger than that. And they could want to transact on our network. And we need to be able to assure that we can facilitate towards that. So the provisioning for those deals would be complete transparency. And this is what I like about this community, because the nice thing is once tokens are transacted in our exchange, we can do it. And I'm like super excited to be doing this because this is the bridging point into these markets, like I was saying, is that there has been those places and spaces that are happening, but because the capital is not in those places and places in the fiat system, we could be bridging it with the system because the risk is now not there with the banks and so on and so forth. So this is actually the more valued system in the sectors that I'm speaking about. And I want to position myself accurately and correctly. And I'm speaking about something within the next 15 days that we could do.
Cool. We're looking forward to continuing the
But
conversations.
Yeah.
if we do something along these lines, I need to understand that as well we still keep the public responsibility, that we do still make it accessible to all the different people, because I don't want a system. The only thing that's going to make this actually work is if this becomes a global exchange for the people with the people. I like the mentality of, okay, great, this exchange is all for the people and everything like that. But if somebody does pull out a fiat capital injection larger than the actual value of it, we're going to be sitting without funds and you can't pay the next person. We're going to run into debt.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think what you're missing here is like nobody controls the markets. Like, people can do that. That's what makes it open and fair. It's driven by real world products and services. If we if we let's just say we were a project that put controls in the markets, we would be no better than everybody else that's out there. This is about freeing humanity. People can do whatever they want. That's the nature of blockchain. What we're creating here is a community driven, not a company oligarchy that controls everything.
So now, from a
People can
financial
pull out of the
understanding point,
markets if they want. It's open
because of
and
the
free.
exchange, sorry for interrupting, I fully understand. So what we've actually created is you've got a currency where you put in $1 and you actually get out $2. That's how it can actually never go into bankruptcy, because that's what a blockchain does. Because of the way that it actually separates out, that's actually the value for it and what the fair exchange does. So if a person had to pull out the entire value, the value of the tokens would still situated, because this is in our people's control. Now the only question is, when the whole world is earning an unlimited amount, because it has got an exponential growth amount to it. So if all the wealthiest people had to put all their money into it, it would balloon out of proportion. Now, what is going to make
No,
people
it
actually go to
can't
work if
balloon out of
everybody?
proportion. Hold on, let me stop you right there. It can only grow to the extent that we drive revenue through products or services. I think that's what you're missing. Like, you don't put in $1 and get $2 out. Nobody says that. You put in $1 and you bet on us changing the world because we have real world products and services. And as the world sees the value in the products and services, they exchange their dollars, whether that's US dollars, Canadian dollars, or crypto, and puts it into purchasing products and services, which adds buy pressure to our markets. Nobody's saying put in $1, make two. There's no guarantee this thing even works. We're early people. Like, it's working right now. That's what I'm saying. I think you might be looking at this whole thing wrong, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I would
Maybe we have a side
I would love to
conversation.
go. I would love to go into some other questions, because other people have questions.
Thank you for your time.
We can answer the specific questions later also, Wayne, because a lot of people have questions. I like this question from Lars. He says, will it be better to buy BlockBots than selling BlockBots?
Yeah, so the number one thing that you can do, and I'll tell you right now, I own 95 BlockBots. People thought I was crazy when they were win nodes. They're like, what are you doing? Why are you buying so many win nodes? They give you this stupid win token, all the values over here and all the other stuff. Why are you buying all these win nodes? Well, the reason is for this very conversation we had. All of the revenue goes to the Win blockchain, the BlockBots. They're called BlockBots now. So I have 95 BlockBots. The number one thing that you can do that will put you in the best position to capture not all of the revenue, but to be where the revenue flows, is to own BlockBots more than anything else that you can do. More than selling BlockBots, more than sharing this. Owning BlockBots is the number one thing you can do by far to put yourself up in the ranks. Number one, far away from the number two thing. The number two thing is selling BlockBots, growing a network of BlockBots. because there's a difference. Owning BlockBots is full whole points. Selling BlockBots, the commission on that is a full whole point only for that one day. But as these BlockBots continuously run in your network and in the blockchain, it's small fractions of a point. Owning BlockBots is full points every day. It keeps you in the ranks. Selling BlockBots, as we grow and scale, those fractional points will equal full points, you know? So for every 7 people, for every 365 people, like as we grow, I think we're at like 93,000 people right now. What are those fractional points going to look like when we have 1 million people? You know, when we have 500,000 BlockBots? Like you get a piece of all that. That equals big points for you. And your win rank, your rank positioning, which determines, you guys saw with mine and my wife's account, those node support rewards, massive difference between a rank 23 and 93. Owning and operating BlockBots will put you in the ranks more than anything. Building a network of BlockBots is the second thing more than anything. And then, referring product or service sales is third. And the reason why it's third is because it's a one-time thing. Nodes stick every day. BlockBots stick every day. Nodes is just like rally nodes or rally subscription. Like that's just a one-time sale that happens once and gives you 1 point for that day you did it. It's not a recurring point. So the more you can build up your recurring points and have consistent points every day, because remember, the Win blockchain looks at today and rewards that the most. It looks at last week a little bit less. It looks at last month even lower. Last year, the past 12 months, it looks back and it gives you, so the more consistent things you can do today, and running a BlockBot, owning BlockBots and running BlockBots is the number one most consistent thing you can do. It's the reason why I'm ranked 24, and it's a reason why I have 95 of them, because I believe in all of our projects, but as they scale and do revenue, that goes to BlockBots, ranked BlockBots in the Win blockchain. I want to be in a position, like I love money, guys, don't get me wrong, but primarily, I don't want this to become all about money, but since I'm here and we have a system now that shares value across its participants, doesn't it make sense for me to be where the value flows? Why wouldn't I be? So that's where I am. I'm high ranked in the Win blockchain because I own BlockBots. Um, And if it's true that I believe that grow is going to grow exponentially and change the agricultural industry and do a ton of revenue for B2C, B2B carbon credits, if I believe that Element's going to do a lot of good work in Africa and across the world with, making mining better, and they're going to do a lot of revenue, and Link's going to go worldwide and do a ton of revenue, then I need to be in the Win blockchain where that revenue flows. So I hope that answered that question. Sorry for the long-winded message.
Mhm. Yeah, we have a few more questions. Lars also asked, what will, I don't know if it's for now, but what will the foundation nodes, maybe you can tell a little bit of do, and what can you tell us about it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me do this here. Let me share a picture. I think that'd be the best thing to do here. I'm gonna share my screen here. It's better to describe in a picture. I have a picture here. Okay, so share entire screen, share. Let's go right here. So this is our ecosystem. Everybody can see this? So some of this stuff is built, some of it isn't. So as you can see, we have BlockBot in the middle. We have the Win blockchain up top, and then we have foundations at the bottom. So we have individual brand products. We have Green, Codex, Give, Liberty, Element, Gala, Galvin. It just goes around. Not all of these are launched. Yep, take a screenshot. This is an amazing picture. So what the Win blockchain is, and the reason why it's separated from this and it's on top, and the reason why Foundations is on the bottom, is the Win blockchain and Foundations is what's called an index. And it's BlockBot that connects to all blockchains. BlockBot through the Win blockchain connects to revenue from all chains. So just as any one of these projects does revenue, it goes back through the Win blockchain to the BlockBots. Now, one thing that's going to be cool, I think, is in the near future, like you're going to be able to plug a foundations node into your BlockBot. So it taps into not the revenue. So foundations isn't about revenue. It's about what's the best way to explain it? Foundation sits underneath all of our projects, and then every transaction across every blockchain, it gives a confirmation to it, and it creates a base chain where now foundations node owners and operators get to share in the rewards from not the revenue, but the transactional volume. So as our transactions increases, there'll be a reward from every blockchain that we have in our ecosystem that will go to the foundation's node owners. So what it does is it creates an index of all the chains. So it unites all of our chains through an index based on transactions, and Win and BlockBot unites all of our chains through an index with revenue. So I hope that makes sense there, guys. Let me go back to the screen.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing picture that will give a big overview of what the possibilities are. Let me run to a few more questions. We are over the hour now, and I wanted to keep it on an hour because some people have other things to do. Let me see if there are questions that have not yet been answered. Yeah, I see a question. Will it only go back to the Win blockchain holders for a Win ranking? I don't know exactly what you mean, but
So I
think
think I can answer that one, the
yeah.
one that Lars asked. So revenue he's referring to. Will revenue only go back to the Win BB holders with a ranking? Um, no. So if you're an unranked BlockBot, you can still earn transaction confirmation rewards. So anything you do personally and anybody you refer personally, you still get a piece of just that revenue, but that revenue is exclusive to like your friend chain and what you do. To really tap into that global revenue as we scale, a person needs to become an impact BlockBot, and then you can really tap into that. And so that leads me into another question real quick. Okay. The other question, but the one from Andy there about selling 5 BlockBots, but you start getting a piece of the global flow after you sold 5 BlockBots in your friend chain. So it's not 5 BlockBots in your friend chain, it's directly selling 5 BlockBots. So it's referring 5 people who each purchased a BlockBot. That meets the BlockBot requirement and the volume requirement. So once you sell essentially 1 BlockBot to 5 different people directly, you reach Impact BlockBot. And these node support rewards and this global revenue share, it takes about 30 days. It's on a 30-day lag. So let me explain that. All the revenue we do today, about 30 days into the future, comes in node support rewards. The reason we do that is because like when nodes expire, so it gives people a little grace period, 15-day or so, to renew their nodes so they don't fall out of ranking. That's kind of why we did that. And this is a good question. Lars asks, will revenue from R-Link subscriptions never go back to Rally node owners? No, not directly unless the community votes. The Rally node owners benefit indirectly through positive price impact through all of that going and buying the Rally tokens. But that liquidity directly goes to BlockBots. All of the BlockBots in the Win blockchain. That's the big piece that people don't get here. So it's super important to own and operate nodes, but I believe it's just as important to be a ranked BlockBot to capture all of the growth of any one of our projects.
Yeah.
One more question. Can you become an impact BlockBot by buying 5 BBs for yourself? No, it's all about sharing and selling. So if you have to sell 5 BlockBots to 5 or 1 BlockBot to 5 different people. Okay.
Yeah. And Bianca, you had one more question. You raised your hand.
Yeah, I actually just wrote it, but I can ask if we really want to build the social impact platform faster. I was thinking, why don't we let people into the Learn to Earn platform so that they can actually make some money to purchase the BlockBots? I mean, I would happily settle for 50% of the normal whatever rewards I get to get somebody in until they buy the until they purchase the BlockBot themselves, because that would sort of level the costs and
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think I have a good answer for that. So everything has a value, right?
yeah.
There's been hundreds of millions of dollars put into building all of the infrastructure that we're
Mm,
doing. So everything has a value. Even the free BlockBot Mini has a value to it. You know,
yeah.
nothing comes for free. So people can do the learn to earn right now. They just come in for free and do the learn to earn. They just won't be able to earn from it.
Mm,
Part of why we created the Learn to Earn NFTs is for us as BlockBot owners, we can now earn these Learn to Earn NFTs. Like this is what you're
I
talking
know.
about. I have a ton of them. I'll even give some to you guys to give away. Like give these away, get people in. Like anybody
I
on
mean,
here, like I literally have, because I have 95 BlockBots, that means I have double that in Learn to Earn NFTs. I will give like 100 of them away to Arian and he can distribute it. By all means, give these away for people as incentive to come in to our social impact platform. And you can give
yeah.
your own away too, or you can hoard them and use them because what can happen, guys? We could have grow on for 1 week in
Mm,
the Learn to Earn. In 1 week, it could be like we're gonna give you a cow NFTs or a grow boost, and that would be the week that maybe you would want to activate your Learn to Earn NFT,
mm,
which like you can activate them yourself. If you have 1 BlockBot and 2 Learn to Earn NFTs, you can activate them yourself for that week and earn 3 times it because you have a BlockBot and then 2 active Learn to Earn NFTs. I don't know if you
mm.
guys knew that.
Oh,
No,
wow. That is
no, that never
brilliant.
heard that before. That's
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, there's
But
tons of
it would.
information in the FAQ.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would love to get people into the system, and a lot of the time, the financing of buying a BlockBot, purchasing BlockBot right now is the problem they have.
Yeah,
So if I
yeah,
could
it's tough.
give some of my rewards in the beginning until they purchase the BlockBot, that would be fantastic. But giving
Yeah,
them one Learn to Earn sort of that doesn't make them you know make the money. So if I would happily pay some to get to help somebody in. I mean, that's the whole idea of what we're doing, all of it. That is to
yeah.
raise the
And,
yeah.
and one thing we're not really seeing, but this is how it's gonna be, is like right now, like we can't use our tokens to like buy nodes and stuff. We can
Mm,
go to the markets and sell our tokens, and the
yeah,
markets are
but
just starting to go a little bit
they
like with
are.
liquidity issues.
Yeah,
As we drive revenue, that liquidity problem and token price will go away. Once we get to a certain point after this flywheel goes, we don't want to accept anything except our tokens for everything. So there's
yeah,
what I'm saying is there's going to come a point in time where I know it's difficult to with the banks to do wires and get crypto. But there's going to come a point in time where like you could be having a meeting with your friend and they have the money ready to go, but you could be like, here, take my tokens, just Venmo me the money or give me the
yeah,
cash. Like that just doesn't exist yet. It's always hard in the beginning, but as we get to that point, like we're only going to be accepting our tokens. And guess
yeah.
who has all the tokens? We do.
We do. Mm,
We do.
yeah,
Nobody else has them. The community
exactly.
does.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Thank you. That was your question, Bianca. Thank you very much.
yeah. You're welcome.
Hope it explains. Yes, some of the other questions are already been answered about the NFTs. Maybe how to activate them. Yeah, you have an activate button in the back office.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong, John, but if they activate them and someone doesn't have a BlockBot and they do the lesson, the system will recognize it and then redeem the NFT.
exactly. And just to be clear on the one before that, it must be 5 different people, not 2 persons who buys 3 and 2. It has to be 5 unique direct referrals that each
Mhm.
buy one BlockBot. It can't be one person that buys 5.
Yeah. And the
Yep.
last question, when people will receive them, will they be able to do it? Well, we also answered that just, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Let's see. Yeah, that
I
was
have one that is.
Bianca's
I
got
have
one.
something practical. I don't understand. With the mini BlockBot, there is a month. What's it called on blockade? I
free,
think it
free
is. Yeah,
hosting.
free hosting.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I tried to get in with somebody who got a mini BlockBot, and we can't get in with the same password or anything. There is nothing there. There is also one of the
One of
ones
the ones I
I'm echoing, Lars. um, a friend I sent a mini BlockBot and we did her profile, but she's not gotten the mini BlockBot yet, and this is 2 weeks ago now. There's nothing in
so
there. We had
there
great
was, let me
difficulties with
explain
the
that.
pass. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so there was one little glitch when we first launched where a lot of, not a lot, but I think it was for a period of a certain hours throughout one of the days that there was a glitch in the system and it didn't make them a Block Fabric account and it didn't give them a BlockBot Mini. So
Exactly.
unfortunately, I think your friend might have fell into this bucket. So definitely have her reach out to support.
I
Um,
have done
and
that
I'll
twice. I don't hear anything. I started the day after it happened and not heard a word from them.
not one word, not even an auto
No,
response.
I've written them twice. Explanation again.
So are
My,
you writing on behalf of her or is she writing
yeah,
on
but
behalf of herself?
I'm writing on her profile, but on her behalf, because she's been going to her daughter's wedding and stuff. So I have access to her profile as well.
You have access to her email because that's how they
Yeah.
respond through email.
No,
Okay. I would,
I've told them, I've
okay.
written in the comments that I'm doing hers, and they have to respond to my email, and they've said they received it, but I've never heard anything else.
Yeah, so one thing that I know is they don't prioritize when people try to fix things in other people's accounts that
Hmm.
aren't the account owner. It's you
Hmm.
get the best response when you put in a ticket from the very account that has the problem. Now, what
Okay.
I can do is if you can just give the email of the account to Arian and you can give that to me, I can
Yes,
kind
sure,
of dig in and see what's going on directly with
sure,
support there
sure.
for you.
Yep, I will. I can give it to you now.
Cool. And then just to answer the last question here, the BlockBot Mini comes with a free 30 days of hosting. It's $1 to run that mini, which is a Win Light node. So if you want to continue running that, you'll need to put a credit card into Block Fabric. Of course, if you can get in and don't have the same problem Bianca's friend has, you'll need to go just put a credit card in there so they can bill it monthly for it. And also, guys, the BlockBot, the full BlockBot now comes with 6 months free hosting in Block Fabric. So that's another incentive. I didn't know if you guys knew that. So all new people, I saw this happen to my friend. He bought 2 BlockBots. I didn't even know this happens, and I'm with the team all the time. We went in to set up his node and or his BlockBots, his 2 Win nodes, and we put his credit card and it said first bill December. I was like, whoa, it gave free 6 months right there. So it's already live and active. So um, free 6 months of hosting, which is $4.95 a month for 6 months, whatever that is. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's been real. Hopefully we can do this again every couple weeks, come together. And my hope here, you got it recorded. My hope here is really you understand the power of BlockBot. Before, it was just a win node and people really didn't get it. But as we're going into momentum and we start to see the revenue flow through real world products and services, and those of you who are Impact BlockBots can vouch to how that changes the whole dynamic of like what we're earning for rewards, both in node support rewards and in the markets. Like you can go sell hundreds of dollars of rewards right now, no problem. And pretty soon you're going to be able to sell tens of thousands of dollars of rewards, no problem. As we grow, it's about being in the right place at the right time
Yeah.
and understanding how the system works so you can make informed decisions for yourself and also give the right information to other people so they can make their informed decisions.
Mm.